I call to order this meeting of the Lindsay Successor Agency and direct the secretary to take roll.
Board Member Sanchez.
Here.
Board Member Flores.
Here.
Board Member Watson.
Here.
Board Member Cortez.
Here.
And Chairperson Kimball.
Here. Thank you. The first item is public comment for the successor agency. This is not public comment for the City Council, but for the redevelopment successor agency. If anyone wishes to address us under any subject under the jurisdiction of the Lindsay Successor Agency, which is successor agency to the redevelopment agency. Anyone wish to address the board under public comment? Seeing no one, we will close public comment and move to our next item, which is consideration of Resolution SA or Successor Agency 19-02 to convey title of two governmental purposes properties from the Successor Agency conveyance of property. And this will be presented by Bill.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Madam Chair. Finding my spot here. So staff recommends that the successor agency to the former Lindsay Redevelopment Agency adopt Resolution SA 1902 formalizing its approval and direction to staff to transfer title of two properties identified in Exhibit A to the City of Lindsay to be used for governmental purposes. So what's happened is with the dissolution of the redevelopment agency, the state provided direction on what they wanted to see with redevelopment agency held properties. Things that were being held for governmental use, legitimate governmental use, was allowed to be transferred from redevelopment to the city. So that permission was given on the properties in question, which are Olive Bowl Catcoo Park and that narrow strip of land that is adjacent to it. So that has been directed. It's been, it was approved by the successor agency back when this first happened. It was approved by the oversight board. And this is the final step in that process to formally transfer that property from the successor agency to the city. You'll have a companion piece to look at once we go to the city council meeting where you will accept this. And so you're authorizing the transfer of a conveyance to the city, and then later, as the city council, have the opportunity to accept that property. And there's no money involved. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Bill. Are there any questions? Seeing none, what action would the board like to take?
Move for approval.
Been moved by Watson.
Seconded.
Seconded by Flores. Would the secretary please take roll?
All right. Board Member Watson.
Aye.
Board Member Flores.
Aye.
Board Member Sanchez.
Aye.
Board Member Cortez.
Aye.
And Chairperson Kimball.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Our next item is a motion to adjourn. So moved. Moved by Cortez.
Second.
Seconded by Sanchez. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. Successor agency is adjourned. And we have like 1.5 minutes pause before we begin our city council meeting.
The kids rush. And we want to make it bigger. It goes to that side.
While we're waiting, I assume we have blank cards at the back of the room. So we request that anyone who wishes to address the city council under public comment, fill out a card and hand it to the clerk so that he can properly get names for the record. Thank you. Brad.
Click on the link I already gave you. You can do that. So it's in 3 parts. In here.
30-inch oven won't go in the old 30-inch slot.
I know, because I was making sure that we go to that site.
Yeah, it's when it crosses that one page.
Thank you.
Ready to go? I call to order this meeting of the Lindsay City Council and direct the clerk to take roll.
All right, Councilmember Sanchez.
Here.
Councilmember Flores.
Here.
Councilmember Watson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Cortez.
Here.
Mayor Kimball.
Here. Thank you. Would everyone please stand and join us as Councilmember Watson leads us in a flag salute.
Salute.
Pledge.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will now open our public comment period. The public is invited to comment on any subject under the jurisdiction of the Lindsay City Council, including agenda items other than noticed public hearings. Speakers shall be limited to 3 minutes unless otherwise indicated by the mayor. Public comment period will end after 30 minutes. Blank speaker cards are on the back table. Give the completed speaker card to the clerk before standing at the podium, if you would please. Speakers should clearly state their name before they begin. Thank you. Did anyone wish to address the council at this time?
Thank you very much. Colby Wells, Public Affairs Manager, SoCalGas. Just wanted to come before the council today and just give a brief update of natural gas and kind of some of the things that we're facing in the state of California today, and just to let you know what's going on. The state of California, as you know, is working on greenhouse gas reduction goals, both for 2030 and 2045. And it seems as if in recent times the state has decided that electrification is the way that they will attain those goals. And when I say electrification, I'm talking building electrification and complete elimination of natural gas. And so last year, AB 3232 was introduced into the state legislature. If that bill would have passed as written, by 2022, all new buildings in the state of California would have been electrification only, and any new building stock by 2030, any existing buildings would have been required to convert to electricity at the building owner's expense. So that's residential, commercial, and industrial. Thank goodness that didn't pass. SoCalGas and a large contingent of industry, labor, you name it, fought this bill, turned it into a study bill. So they're studying the effects of electrification right now. But as we speak, the battle has moved from the state legislature to the regulatory arena. The CPUC just opened a OIR, Order to Institute Rulemaking, on building decarbonization, which is their word for building electrification. So that battle is currently going on now in the regulatory arena. So I just wanted to bring you up to speed on that. And also let you know that SoCalGas is proposing a path forward that is obviously not electrification, it's renewable natural gas. So anything that decomposes human waste, animal waste, green waste, landfill waste, it all breaks down into methane. We capture that, clean it, put it into our pipelines. It's actually a carbon negative fuel. So it's more effective in greenhouse gas reduction because you're taking what otherwise would go to the atmosphere out of the atmosphere and putting it into a useful form of energy. So we're here to say we have a solution. Electrification is not, the path forward, our opinion. But we would ask the city of Lindsay that anytime this comes up, just to preserve energy choice. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Wells. It's very informative and important. Anyone else wishing to address the council at this time?
sell tickets now.
Thank you.
Steve Penn, 2074 Lindsay. Wow, it's getting exciting. You're going to talk about some topics that's going to be really exciting. Just got back from San Diego. They are doing things up there, big things. They got a lot of money, but all the guys has got to go to a couple labs. Interesting, pretty neat stuff. A lot of those people up there, though, it's not about the money. It's about the passion they have. They just got rich off of it while they were doing it. So it's a little bit different atmosphere up there even, you would think. But a lot of things are going to come in front of you. Really interesting, really good. The cannabis education thing's just about to start here with my kid. It's going to be really interesting. Things are good. I hope you guys talk about some good topics. I've seen what was presented from Mr. Ziegler down there on some of the zones that you guys want. If you would, when you discuss it, is actually pinpoint a little bit better, so everybody kind of knows, really what you guys are thinking also at the same time. So it's really getting interesting. Next month, it's really going to be good. And I'll come and see you. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else to address the council?
¿Por qué no nos interpretan? Nosotros no sabemos lo que dicen ellos. Nos tienen que interpretar lo que ellos dicen para nosotros poder opinar o decir algo.
So she's asking for translation of everything that everybody is saying. Okay. En este momento es el tiempo de comentario público. Si alguien gusta venir al frente a dar algún comentario en frente de todos y les puedo traducir, les pedimos que den su nombre para tenerlo en el record.
Así como cuando nosotros hablamos, ustedes les traducen a ellos, así deberían de traducirnos a nosotros lo que ellos dicen.
So she's
Para
asking
nosotros
for
saber qué es
thing
lo
to
que
be
ellos
translated.
comentan, qué es lo que ellos dicen.
Well,
No, pues ya no me
come up
quería
to-
que me traduzcan.
Okay. So, lo voy a decir brevemente, lo mejor que pueda. Tomé algunas notas. El primer señor, no capturé su nombre, pero es un representante de la compañía de gas. Y nos estaba tratando de clarificar algunas propuestas que está haciendo el Estado, donde el Estado quiere básicamente deshacerse del gas natural y poner todo eléctricamente, que todo sea a consumo de electricidad. Obviamente la compañía de gas natural no quiere eso, pero sí tiene algunas propuestas donde se pueden usar otras cosas para hacer gas natural renovable. Entonces venía a informar al comité aquí de la ciudad de propuestas que la compañía de gas en las que está trabajando. Ese fue el primer señor. El segundo señor, el señor Steve Penn, nos decía que fue a San Diego, que estuvo en San Diego mirando laboratorios de marihuana y está emocionado por lo que el concilio va a discutir en el futuro acerca de ese tema. Entonces,
y ahorita es el tiempo para, si quieren decir algo sobre lo que estamos hablando, ustedes pueden venir a frente.
Pues yo nomás vengo por lo del tema.
venga aquí para que la escuchen todos.
Pues yo vengo por lo del remate, porque pues a mí no me parece ni bien ni justo que lo pongan del callejón para allá. ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué nos quieren discriminar a nosotros? Nomás porque una persona, por una hora, que él, según le molestan los carros, al del State Farm. Para mí no está bien, porque nos va a perjudicar a muchos por una hora que él cierra. El remate empieza a las 4 y él cierra a las 5. Entonces va a perjudicar a muchas personas porque lo va a poner de ahí para allá. Entonces no me parece justo eso. Y nosotros le damos como a ganar al INSI, ¿verdad? A la ciudad. Entonces ustedes, en vez de ayudarnos a que nuestros negocios crezcan, nos van a apachurrar. ¿Por qué quieren poner el remate de allá? Pues no. Yo pienso que no está bien. Yo me siento hasta discriminada porque me van a dejar mi espacio acá. Ahora, para sacar tanta cosa y llevarla hasta allá, ¿en qué la voy a mover? Ahora, para sacarle la banqueta, no se puede, porque ¿cómo voy a tener mis racas en la banqueta? ¿Cómo va a pasar la gente? Yo pienso eso, y yo vengo por eso.
¿Su nombre? Porque
María Hernández, y tengo mi tienda, Fashion Boutique, ahí en la Honolulu. Y gracias, y pues, espero que hagan lo mejor posible para que seamos beneficiados todos, y no nomás uno. También otra cosa me faltó. Ok, ¿por qué quieren traer a personas de otro pueblo a que dirija el remate, habiendo tanta gente aquí que necesita ese trabajo? Ahora, ¿por qué no dejan a Virginia si ella lo ha llevado bien todo el tiempo? ¿Por qué tiene que venir una persona de, ya se me olvidó de dónde, pero a correr el remate? Dígame usted. No me parece que esté bien, porque hay muchas personas que a lo mejor necesitan esa oportunidad de trabajar de alguien de aquí, del mismo pueblo. ¿Por qué van a sacar el dinero para allá? Pues no. Esa es mi forma de pensar, lo que yo pienso y lo que nos convendría a nosotros. Y discúlpenme, pero pues a eso vine. Y gracias.
Gracias. So her name is Maria Hernandez. She owns a fashion boutique down Honolulu. She's here because she wants to address the Friday night market. Not happy with the proposed location that's from the alley there on Honolulu East. She doesn't think it's fair for her business because it's not feasible for her to move everything to a further location, nor to put it out on the sidewalk because then people can't pass by there. She doesn't think that it's fair that because of one business, they want to move the surrounding businesses' booths down further. Instead of helping other businesses there, she feels like they're being harmed instead. And to a certain degree, she feels discriminated as well. She doesn't like the idea of having an outsider come and manage the Friday night market, being that local people here also need to work and can do the work as well. She believes that council should do what's best for everybody, not for one person. Doesn't understand why they don't want, or why people don't want Virginia to manage it anymore, and she's just not happy and just came to express her feelings about all of that related to the Friday night market.
Thank you. Thank you, Laura. Anyone else wishing to address the council?
¿Alguien más?
My name is Trudy Wishman, and I'm also here to address the Friday night market. For the sake of the community, as well as for the city's income, I hope you will not approve Resolution 1908. I think the whole RFP process has been a fraud, intended to make the city look more transparent while keeping the public blind as bats. In the agenda packet materials, there is no identification of who Jamora Enterprises is, no names and addresses, no resumes, nothing to support the scoring of the committee, not even the names of the two outside reviewers. And the ad hoc committee, which was also supposed to make the process more transparent, held no public meetings, has no members of the public on the committee, and is made up of only 2 council members, one of whom, Brian Watson, has a conflict of interest and should recuse himself and leave the room during the discussion and vote. I hope you will reconsider working with the Chamber of Commerce to develop a new and better Friday night market. With the council's support, it could help develop the event into something that serves more than just the commercial interest downtown. I ask that you request from the Chamber a project development proposal with its own map. I hope that proposal would include spaces for local nonprofit groups and community organizations, as well as profit-making vendors. And after working out the details with the Chamber, I think it would be appropriate to direct the City Finance Director to evaluate the actual costs incurred to the city by the operation of the market, and then direct the City Attorney to draw up a contract reflecting the proposed operations. I think it would be good also if the funds received by the city, at least those related to infrastructure wear and tear, be reserved for and returned to those restricted funds from which you approved the permanent borrowing last month. If you take these steps, it will show the community that you are serious about trying to improve our town. If you don't, we can interpret your continued rubber stamping of this staff as complicity in the community's downfall. Thank you.
So people want that translated. No tengo sus notas, dijo muchas palabras muy grandes, pero básicamente no está contenta ella con una de las propuestas que está en la agenda, que es la resolución 1908, donde se va a hablar acerca de quién va a manejar la marqueta de ahora en adelante. Ella piensa que todo eso es un fraude y nos pide que reconsideremos trabajar nuevamente con la Cámara de Comercio en este proyecto, y propone que la Cámara de Comercio haga su propio plan con sus propias ideas y repasar después con la ciudad para ver si es algo que se puede cumplir.
Thank you, Laura. ¿Algo más? Anyone else?
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Diego Alejandro López. Yo soy dueño de aquí en 142 North Street, Briga, Las Palmitas. Es un negocio que comencé hace 3 años ahí. Invertí poquito más de $70,000 en ese negocio, apostando todo a la marqueta, ¿verdad? Tengo 10 años trabajando con la marqueta de Lindsay. Cuando se me presentó la oportunidad de tener ese negocio, yo tenía otro en Tulare, lo cerré para venirme aquí, dedicarme de lleno aquí a este negocio. $70,000 que ahorita están en juego, ¿verdad? Porque he escuchado que ya no van a continuar el remate de aquel lado. Pues ahí con el perdón de los que lo quieren manejar nuevamente, pero yo no me siento contento con poner $70,000 en riesgo, ¿verdad? En manos de personas que no tienen la experiencia para manejar el remate. Están asesorados por una persona que viene de Selma. El mismo dueño de Selma es el dueño de Orosi. Yo he trabajado el remate de Orosi. Realmente lo trabajé hace como 15 años, era buen remate. Ahorita ese remate no sirve para nada. Es un remate que no lo han podido levantar, ¿verdad? Entonces yo personalmente dejé de ir en diciembre. Yo ya no voy a Orosi. Principalmente porque ya no sirve ese remate. O sea, la gente de ahí, los administradores, no ponen el entusiasmo, no le echan ganas, ven por sus propios intereses, el dinero es lo único que les importa. Nosotros estamos hablando de la comunidad de Lindsay, ¿verdad? Pienso que debemos de ver por el beneficio de Lindsay y los que habitamos aquí en Lindsay o los que cooperamos para Lindsay. Yo pago luz, pago agua, pago drenaje, pago todos los servicios aquí en Lindsay. 90% de mi tiempo está aquí en Lindsay, radico prácticamente aquí en Lindsay, y no se me hace justo lo que están haciendo. No se me hace justo lo que están haciendo precisamente porque se oyen muchos rumores afuera que son problemas personales los que tienen, tanto el consejo de aquí como con la Cámara de Comercio. Y lo que no se me hace justo es que los negocios que estamos establecidos aquí tengamos que perder a causa de problemas personales, ¿verdad? Si la Cámara de Comercio ya dio el primer paso para llegar a un arreglo o para seguir adelante, ese remate ya tiene que estar comenzando. Ahorita, en lo que no ha comenzado el remate, yo ya van $5 o $6,000 que pierdo, que dejo de ganar, ¿verdad? Entonces, ¿qué están esperando? Que venga alguien más, se lleve el dinero a otra ciudad muchos puestos van a dejar de venir aquí. Las nuevas personas que quieren administrar ya pusieron en lista marcada, personas que tienen 15 años viniendo aquí al remate, ya tacharon, este no va a venir, este no va a venir, este no va a venir, ¿verdad? Entonces, ¿por qué hacerlo así? ¿Por pleitos personales? No se me hace justo. O sea, si es personal, entonces, que digan, ¿verdad? Que digan si es personal, entonces que me lo den a mí, yo lo corro. El remate así de sencillo. Yo soy de aquí de Lindsay y tengo el capital para correrlo y la experiencia. Gracias.
Y yo le ayudo, ¿eh? Yo también tengo experiencia.
Gracias.
I didn't catch his name, but he is the owner of Palmitas down Sweetbriar, has invested over $70,000 to put up his business there, has been there for about 10 years. He is afraid that with the new design, I guess for the market, he won't be getting the business that he's gotten in the past because it's not going to run down Sweetbriar. He understands that the proposed new managers are associated with the Rosie swap meet. That is no good. He used to go there, doesn't go there anymore because it's not good. He believes that whoever runs a Friday night market should be from Lindsay, from the community, to benefit the community of Lindsay. He doesn't think that what council is doing is fair. There's a lot of rumors out in the community that this is more of a personal problem. The chamber against city staff, chamber staff against city staff. He doesn't think that that's right because the businesses are the ones suffering the consequences. Since Friday Night Market has not begun, he's already about $5,000 or $6,000 in the hole because it hasn't began. He claims he can run the Friday Night Market. He has experience and he has the capital to do it, so he says he can do it.
¿Puedo agregar algo más que se me pasó?
Can he add something else?
Tengo, yo afuera de mi negocio pongo 3 negocios que son papas, baked potatoes, roasted corn, churros rellenos, agua fresca, frutas. Todo eso lo pongo afuera de mi negocio. Y aparte también usaba otro espacio acá enfrente de donde estaba el 8 Loco, también ponía otro espacio. So, yo realmente a la marqueta le proporciono lo de 4 o 5 espacios de comida cada semana, ¿verdad? Entonces, por eso es que yo estoy peleando eso. Y no se me va a hacer justo que a raíz de esto que yo acabo de decir, por ejemplo, los nuevos manejadores, a mí me quieran dejar fuera, ¿verdad? Entonces, si no es Virginia o otras personas, que nomás que no tomen represalias en ese aspecto.
He just wanted to add that he has a few booths out there because he sells other items, and he mentioned the items that he sells. Oh my gosh.
Okay, that's all right. No, we heard the items.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the business again that this gentleman?
Las Palmitas, he's the owner.
Since you didn't catch it, if you want, I'll translate it. He said that he has that out there. We put about 5 booths inside of the swap meet. That each one is about food, and food obviously costs more than the other spots. So he contributes to the remate, and he just wants to make sure that because of what he just said, but because of what he just stated, that he is not let out, that the new person running this isn't biased against us or against other people that have been here for so long. For instance, we've been there for 10 years. Other people that have been there for 15 years, they've already been crossed off of the new list. So just wanted to put that out there.
Who else would like to address the council? Steve, you already addressed the council. Oh, okay.
I would like to make a comment.
Okay. Good evening, Lindsay community leaders and councils. My name is Esmeralda Riola. I have been part of the Lindsay Farmers Market since it was first established. It is a wonderful place for the community to engage families, people of many ages, ethnic groups, and financial status. When we come to the farmers market, we are one big family. I'm here today to speak on behalf of vendors who are concerned with some of the new possible changes. Changes are unpreventable in life, but changes always affects people. Today, the people I want you to think about are the vendors who have been part of the market for many years. Change is best received and implemented when it is done in collaboration with others who will be impacted. One of the changes that could impact the vendors community is having Himora Enterprise run the farmers market. I would ask that you please acknowledge every possible outcome of this transition and who it affects. Please keep in mind that having Himora Enterprise run the farmers market could cause conflicts of interest due to biased perspectives. Himora Enterprise is not an outside party. One of the representatives has been involved as a vendor for as long as I can remember. If Himora Enterprise led the farmer market, it would have a huge advantage of controlling what can and cannot happen in the market. But they would also greatly benefit their own personal interests, which can be used to their advantage. A change of leadership will always impact the atmosphere and work environment. It would be better if the city or another third party ran the farmers market, because they can do it with a fair and unbiased structure. It would be very difficult for people that have been working here to be forced out with the new system. Having the city or third party run the farmers market would establish a better opportunity for current and incoming vendors. I myself have grown up in Lindsay, as part of my roots are within the Lindsay Farmers Market, and it has become part of my identity, which is why I'm standing up here today to make sure the place I call my home is in good hands. Please give all the vendors an opportunity to thrive with an opportunity to create a fair system, and a place that can give every hardworking vendor an opportunity to equally succeed. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Brevemente lo que ella dijo, que ella ha estado involucrada en la marqueta porque es criada aquí en Lindsay, no cree que es justo que una compañía privada venga a manejar la marqueta, y está pidiendo que más que nada el concilio piense en los negocios y le den la oportunidad a todos los negocios de ser exitosos.
Thank you. Is the clerk getting names?
I did not get that one.
You did not get that name?
Your name. Yes.
We didn't get your name for the record.
Esmeralda Ariola.
Esmeralda Ariola.
Ariola.
Thank you.
Let's shift a little bit here. My name is Faustino Perez. I'm here representing the Lindsay Youth Soccer League. City of Lindsay, of course. A few things. First of all, first one, before I forget, not just soccer, but baseball or like Chamber of Commerce, you know, the pozole, menudo, and rib cook-off, put banners out there. I don't know if it's a rule that's been out there that I'm not aware of. Now it's a thing that I think we're allowed to have it 2 weeks and that's it. I think, because I was about to take mine down and I drove up to take it off and it was gone. So I don't know if it's a city thing or vandalism or what, but that's something that I would, you know, have you guys look into.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? What was gone?
The banner to advertise, yes, I heard from other parties that we're only allowed to have it 2 weeks out of, I'm not sure, a month, a year, or whatever, you know, the advertisement is. And if it's a city thing, I mean, there's phone numbers on those banners, so a courtesy call would have been great. And I would have come over and take it off right away. Second, we're about a week or two to start our soccer league. We have quite a bit of kids out there. It gets dark still pretty soon. My request to the city council is if I can get at least one tower out there for safety purposes of our kids, and that allows me to stay back behind and pick up trash, because we all know nobody picks their own stuff, so somebody has to do it. Alrighty, and oh yes, one last thing. The park is, of what I've seen, I live a couple blocks away. I see a lot of people out there smoking, pot smokers. Now, keep in mind, now that we have moved our soccer program over there, we have quite a bit of kids out there. I would ask the city council if we can get a little bit more patrol out there and just show yourselves, you know, and maybe that'll help to stop anything. One of the reasons for the lighting is because recently, I don't know if you read or heard on the news, there's been some kidnapping or attempted kidnapping and kids missing here and there, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and let's try to get rid of that before it gets too bad. And I think that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Council, with your permission, Faustino, you can talk to me about any of that, and I'd be happy to answer your questions and help you if I can.
All right, thank you.
So,
Do you want me to translate that a little bit?
we're going to have a quick translation, sir, and then your opportunity.
Señor Faustino nada más vino a preguntar al concilio acerca de unas cosas relacionadas al fútbol. Una era de los letreros, no sabe él si hay un límite de cuántas semanas pueden estar los letreros colgados allá. Él cuando fue a recoger el suyo ya no lo encontró, entonces está haciendo la pregunta que por qué lo quitaron, le deberían de haber hablado, o si hay un límite que le avisen para él saber. También pide que se prenda por lo menos una de las luces allá afuera en el parque de fútbol para que los niños, las familias estén seguros. Eso también, todavía se oscurece algo temprano, eso también le permite recoger basura allá porque sabemos que no toda la gente es responsable y recoge su basura. Y otra razón, nuevamente por seguridad, se ha sabido de casos de robaniños, robachicos, entonces quiere prevenir eso. Y otra cosa que está notando es que en el parque van a personas, fuman allá, con eso de que ahora está el parque de fútbol, hay muchos más niños allá y pide que la policía haga más presencia para la seguridad de todos.
Thank you, Laura. It is my decision to extend public comment because of the time taken in offering translation, so you may go ahead.
Thank you. And if you like, I could translate.
Translate.
Good evening. My name is Eric Gonzalez. I'm Executive Director of Urbanist Collective. I was here a couple of months ago introducing you to what we're doing, what we're bringing to Lindsay. We're really excited about that. I wanted to share a couple of updates. My intention is to keep showing my face and some of our team in the future, just to make sure that you all recognize us with our, bringing our presence to Lindsay. We're very honored to be here. We're excited. And I would love the opportunity to give you all a tour of our space. So with that, I wanted to update you. We did have our grand opening a couple of Saturdays ago, and it went really well. Some of our traditional or our frequent followers, our supporters, coming from Porterville, Hanford, and we had one person from Fresno, all throughout Tulare County, they showed up to show support. And even more excitingly, we had locals, new locals that we did not know. So folks from the school district, teachers, counselors, and even students. So that was really, really great. I did express some of our challenges. The reason we decided to come here was because of the night market. I hope that gets resolved. But in any case, we're looking to partner with whoever is running that, and to hopefully run some of our own projects as well, some block parties of our own. I think that's pretty much it. So we have established a series of networking opportunities, relationships with the schools. So we're really excited about that. We'll be working with some Pathway students and introducing them to what we do. I just remembered. So we have had a funding source knocking on our door for 5 months now. And so we have even given up a couple of times, and they keep encouraging us to apply. I just found out that we can team up with a local city for this grant, and I actually left a voicemail today, and I would love to introduce you to that grant opportunity. I reached out to local law enforcement, which is part of it, school district counselors. I proposed partnership with the school district, but I'm not getting anywhere. So if anyone has any leads, to please, I need the attention of the superintendent. And the other option is to work with you, with city council, for the city being the partnered person. But this grant is massive. It's $100,000 up to $3 million, and we are the only ones on the list right now in this entire region. So, would you like me to translate? For sure.
Translate for yourself.
Let me try to recap. Buenas noches. Me llamo Eric González. Soy el director de la organización no lucrativa Urbanist Collective. Ofrecemos clases acerca de arte y carreras para jóvenes, y vamos a estar, acabamos de abrir nuestro espacio aquí en la 248 248 Sweet Briar, Sweet Briar, y estamos trabajando con varias escuelas, estamos estabilizando relaciones con ellos y vamos a involucrar muchos jóvenes. La razón que nos movimos aquí era porque queríamos aprovechar el remate y nos afectó demasiado. Todos nuestros planes por este año fueron afectadas por ese delay, pero vamos a seguir adelante y seguir trabajando con cualquier persona que esté manejando eso, y nosotros mismos también vamos a manejar nuestros eventos públicos. Y en adicional les avisé que tenemos unas oportunidades por unas becas grandísimas y queremos ojalá trabajar con la escuela, con el distrito escolar o con la ciudad de Lindsay. Es todo. Gracias. Hope I caught it.
Thank you. We have some visitors that are going to come from Japan, and I would love them to show from your. So here are my contact information.
Okay, for sure. No, that's my personal cell phone, and then this is I'll leave these with you. Thanks to share.
I'll pass it. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah.
Anyone else?
Okay. Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Silvia Contreras, dueña de la hermosa Furniture que está aquí en 172 Honolulu Street. Este agosto próximo vamos a cumplir 15 años aquí. Sí, y yo he visto caras nuevas que yo nunca he visto aquí en Lindsay. Entonces mi pregunta es, si yo tengo 15 años aquí trabajando con el negocio, gracias a Dios, ha venido gente de fuera. Sí, hemos vendido hasta gente de Los Ángeles, Avenal, Fresno, de bastantes lugares lejos, Bakersfield, ¿verdad? Entonces, yo digo, ¿cómo es posible que yo estoy viendo caras nuevas, sí, que son de aquí de Lindsay y que nunca se han parado a la mueblería? Porque yo estoy segura que en estos años han necesitado un colchón, una cama, un comedor, una silla, un cajón, lo han necesitado. Y su dinero lo han ido a dejar a otras ciudades que no son Lindsay, que no son, que es donde viven, donde trabajan, ¿sí? Sus impuestos los han ido a dejar a otro lado, pero no los han venido a dejar a su lugar, a su pueblo, ¿verdad? No han ido, porque así como ella me rechazó, así ha llegado gente a la mueblería, que porque somos hispanos, se han salido, que porque no hablamos un inglés perfecto, se han salido. ¿Sí? No nos han comprado. Por eso, gente de aquí, de Lindsay. Entonces, ¿cómo es posible que ahora vamos a ir a dejar nuestros impuestos, sí, alguien que va a manejar el remate a otro lado? Ahora que quieren poner el remate aquí, digo que quieren que el remate se ponga de el área para allá, no nos toca a la segunda, no nos toca a la panadería, no nos toca a Nena de Scone, no le toca a la boutique, no le toca tampoco al señor que vende.
Señora Silvia, necesita platicar con nosotros.
No nos toca a nosotros nada de eso. Entonces, ¿cómo es posible que la ciudad de Lindsay nos quiera ayudar a los negocios si nos están sacando fuera? ¿Sí? Cuando la gente viene al remate, el que nos jala a la gente es el señor de las papas, porque toda la gente se le antoja una papa caliente. Van y de pasada miran nuestros negocios y llegan ahí a comprar, ¿verdad? Entonces, ¿cómo es posible que quieren hacerlo para allá? Ahora me decía, gusto conocer la señora, no la conocía. He hablado con usted, pero no la conocía. Ahora nos dicen, del remate para allá, los carros van a durar 1 hora. ¿Quién va a estar cuidando el tiempo de los carros que se parqueen en ese pedazo de la Honolulu? Que es donde está mi negocio, que es donde está el negocio de cada uno de ellos. ¿Quién va a estar? ¿Quién va a entrar si la gente cuando se baja su carro se dirige rápido al remate? ¿Sí? Ya a nuestras tiendas, a nuestros locales ya no les van a hacer caso. Entonces, ¿dónde vamos a quedar nosotros? ¿Quién va a durar cuidando ese tiempo, esa hora de los carros? ¿Sí? Ahora me decía la señora, ¿puede usted sacar los muebles a la banqueta y no se le va a cobrar?
Your time is
complete? It's finished?
No.
Time is up?
Okay, pero todavía no termino, disculpe. I'm sorry. Okay, ¿cómo voy a sacar yo mis muebles, que son muebles grandes? Sí, ¿cómo voy a sacarlos? Si los niños van a pasar brincando, van a pasar corriendo. Aparte pasa gente con silla de ruedas, ¿por dónde va a pasar? Si está ocupada la carretera con carros, si la banqueta va a estar ocupada con mis muebles, va a estar ocupada con la zapatería, va a estar ocupada con la ropa de nena de de las personas de la panadería también están esperando que entre la gente. Disculpe si el tiempo se terminó, pero yo voy a seguir hablando. Sí, entonces, ¿cómo vamos a hacerle nosotros? Sí, sí, somos los que pagamos taxis aquí en Lindsay, ¿ok? Somos los que consumimos aquí en Lindsay. Yo aprendí cuando empezó mi negocio hace 15 años de un árabe, de un indio, que llegó a comprar a mi tienda. Me dijo, mi dinero...
Ma'am, you need to take your seat.
I'm sorry,
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry. Digo, mi dinero yo lo dejo en Lindsay porque yo quiero que Lindsay crezca. I'm sorry. Quiero que Lindsay crezca. Entonces, ¿cómo es posible?
So this is Ms. Sylvia Contreras from the furniture store down Honolulu, just very upset at the fact of the location, the proposed new location that doesn't cover the front of her business. It's from the alley east, very upset about that, obviously. She has seen a lot of new faces lately, didn't know where they all came from, has been there for over 15 years, or about 15 years. She's asking for the city, for council to help her or help the businesses. How can you help businesses if you're leaving them out is her statement. Also concerned about the 1 hour parking, who's going to be monitoring the parking. That's not reasonable. People will just park in front of her business if that area is open and leave and walk down towards the market. That's not right. Also, she says she talked to me on a couple occasions. We hadn't met. Finally, she put a face to the name, and I had told her that she would be able to take out her furniture because she's a business and wouldn't have to pay for a booth. She says that's not feasible. Her furniture is very big, and if she did take it up onto the sidewalk, children would be walking there, would be jumping on there. She's just saying she's a local business. She pays taxes. She learned from a business owner years ago that you need to leave your taxes where you live, which is locally, and she believes in that. And if you don't know where her business is at, visit her. She's down the street.
Okay, thank you. Next.
Hello, my name is Mercy Herrera, and I live at 1864 East Limor Street. In the past 2 years, when the chamber met with city manager Bill Sigler and Mike Camaria, they mentioned how the Friday night market, out-of-town vendors would take away money from our citizens, from our residents. The chamber replied that these vendors do pay a city business license and a chamber membership, and because of these out-of-town vendors, we would be getting 4,000 to 5,000 visitors on a Friday night, which leaves tax money in our city in gas stations and fast food restaurants. They were also told that the chamber is not transparent and that their books are not right. They have presented documentation of everything they have asked us to show that there was not enough revenue to pay the weekly $2,000 to the city and left us owing money at the end of the year, for which you took their market away and put it up for proposal, and now you're going to negotiate with Hemora Enterprise to run the market. Are they from Lindsay? What does that say to you, Mr. City Manager, Bill Sigler? Because it was you and Brett Harmon, the finance director, that started this mess, and especially when the city of Lindsay has not been transparent to our community. The books are not prepared properly and misused hundreds of thousands of citizens' money improperly. How are we supposed to deal with this, and who and what are we supposed to take away? I was disappointed that the ad hoc committee chose to go to an outside business rather than the chamber, a local nonprofit organization. I was appalled that the person associated with this business that will be awarded the RFP tonight by the city council is leaking all kinds of information. 3 weeks ago, we heard from vendors, he was telling them that his business would be chosen and that he has a list of vendors who will be excluded from his list due to his biases. In addition, they will be charging food vendors $300 instead of the $100, much more. I'd like to know how much of this is true and whether they will be charging the food vendors more. How much will this business be business friendly to our merchants? My second issue is, what is the city not charging? Why is the city not charging rent to McDermott X? When we taxpayers continue to pay for their maintenance cost, how much are McDermott X top administrators being paid? These are questions that the city council need to investigate. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Magdalena Sanchez, Dr. Magdalena Sanchez. I was hired by the city before the Wellness Center and the McDermott came to place to do the marketing study in order for us to get a grant, for the city to get a grant from the California Endowment to build the Wellness Center and the McDermott. Part of the package that we submitted to the California Endowment was that the farmers market was going to be one of the attractions, and that would help the McDermott Center and the Wellness Center. That was the package. Okay, so today or tonight, I would like to speak about the incoherence of your decision. Okay, and I'm going to present at least 3 arguments, and hopefully they make sense. You guys point the finger to the Chamber of Commerce that they didn't keep the books, that they were not properly kept, when you, the city council, and the finance department of the city have not kept the books properly yourself. You don't have a moral standing. You do not have a moral standing to stand up. You have a double standard to judge yourself, to judge McDermott, and then to judge the Chamber of Commerce. When we come before a judge, and everybody knows here, we have to come with clean hands. Otherwise, whatever you present is no good. You guys don't have clean hands. Therefore, you're not equipped to make a decision. You are incoherent and illogical. Okay, for McDermott House, you use one type of standard, which is to bail them out. And because we know that they have not been profitable, we know that now they have not been profitable to the city. And we know now that you have spent thousands of dollars to help them stay afloat. Okay? That's one standard that you have applied to them. Now we turn to the Chamber of Commerce, and you apply another standard, because you believe the chamber is not profitable to the city. You fire the person who helped create and give birth to the farmer's market, because according to you, she's not being profitable, or she is mismanaging the funds. But she is the one that put the city of Lindsay and the farmer's market on the map. So tell me how logical that decision is. And one of the excuses that you have made is that she owed money, or the Chamber of Commerce owed money to the city. $13,000, when you have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to bail out McDermott. How incoherent is that? That is discrimination, and you better be careful, because you may have a lawsuit against the city for gender discrimination, for racial discrimination.
Ma'am, your time is up.
1 minute, please. Okay? Then you turn around and you apply another standard to yourself. We already know that you didn't keep the books well. But you got fired in the city management, now you have one excuse, that you said we were not informed. And it might be true. Then what you do, if you want to apply the same standard, you apply to the Chamber of Commerce, then apply it to yourself. Otherwise, you do not have a moral standing. Thank you.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Irene Ramirez. I'd like to address you on the subject today. First of all, I'm probably one of the oldest vendors that has been here since the market started. From the beginning, when we started, we were all addressed by Virginia. She recruited us to come to the market. The regulations were that we had to be a city resident or we had to have a business in the city of Lindsay. At the time, my parents, I grew up here. My parents have been here all their lives. We knew Virginia, and of course we took on the task. We've been coming every year. Every year something changes. Every year there's something new going on. This year, I'm appalled because I've been here since it began. I know everything that's taken place and what's gone on. Virginia has always been respectful, responsible, and most of all, generous, tolerant. I feel that she hasn't even gotten the credit she deserves since she started this. This thing was a little thing down the street. We had 6, 7 vendors when we first started. It was a mere nothing. Now I have customers that come all the way from Avenal, from Hanford, from Arosi, who come and shop at the market. Those people wouldn't come to Lindsay if they were coming shopping on a regular basis, but we've attracted all those customers to come in and shop. And not only do they shop at the local, at the booths, they shop at the rest of the places in town. That wouldn't have happened if Virginia wouldn't have started it. When she started it, it was a mere nothing. Because I know, I was one of the first vendors that came. And I think that Virginia hasn't gotten the credit nor the appreciation that she's done. Now you want to get rid of her. She's the one that started this. She's the one that created it. And we wouldn't have the amount of public that would come in if it wasn't for her. And I feel that injustice has been done. I feel you haven't even considered. Now you want to bring in somebody else from a different town to do this. Have you stopped and considered that that person has probably no interest in the city whatsoever, except for their personal gain? Virginia has been with the city council, has been with the MART, has done everything she can to make this town prosper. Without that, you guys wouldn't have, there would be no commercial in the city of Lindsay. So I feel that, you need to reconsider, at least, reevaluate the situation. Because without her, I really don't think it's going to be a profitable market anymore. We're going to lose so many customers. Right now, I've been to where you can't even walk down the road, there's so many people. And I know it probably has included a little bit more of a crime rate because there is a lot of people that come. But again, it wouldn't have been possible if she wouldn't have helped us get it started. Thank you.
I am now closing public comment period. And thank everyone for their interest. We know that this is a big issue and a passionate one, and we'll do our best. Our next item is council reports. If council members have anything to report at this time.
Oh, I started?
You always start.
I always started. Okay. Well, first of all, I'd like to address some issues. And because we need to clarify things in order to show transparency and to get the trust back from our community. One of those issues is on the warrant list when it says the electrical bill. Are we still paying for McDermott's electricity bill? We have not paid for it? So you're going on record saying that we have not paid any electrical bill? Okay. What I would like, instead of multiple, I would like to see how much of the payments are going to which place. The wellness center, that's how you know where all the money's going. So I would like that.
If I could interrupt, so you want that as a future agenda item, council member?
Well, you see, that's another thing. Yes, I would. Another thing is, there's no place in the agenda to place anything on future agendas.
That got missed this time, but you have the ability to do that, and we would be happy to accommodate.
Yes, please.
I did pencil it in already.
Okay, good. You know, that's something that's very important. Another thing that's very important to me is to listen to our community. We need to listen to them. They are the heartbeat of this town. And I know the ad hoc committee has done their best to make decisions, but they're all here. These are businesses that are here to support our town. And I really think we should listen to them. Just one thing, you know, it did start at the chamber. I don't even know if it's, Mario, is it ethical? Is it legal to take it away from someone and to do an RFP?
Yeah, it's totally legal.
Is it ethical?
That's up to you as an individual council person. That's not a legal question.
Okay. So okay then, it's legal, but to me, it's not ethical. And we have to be in the forefront of showing our community how it's supposed to be. They're our boss. It's not the other way around. So with that, I'll go ahead and tell you about some of the good stuff. We went to visit Sylmore, Dr. Green Thumb. It's a cannabis place over there, and it's really huge, really clean. They had about 4 or 5 different cannabis places within the same strip as they were. Their security was awesome. In fact, they're also building a cultivation place right next door to the retail place, which I didn't think would be possible. At Sylmore?
Sylmore?
Yeah.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, it's, you go to Magic Mountain and then you turn this way. Yeah. So, yeah, that was pretty interesting to see. They're also wanting to start the lounge business so they could bring attractions and stuff like that, which I had never thought of, but they're doing it at in Cathedral City, I believe. Let me see. I think that's about it. There's also some other stuff that I would like to address. Someone called me about yard sales. I don't know what the new code enforcement is of yard sales and the signs. So maybe we could address that as well in the next agenda, because I don't know. When she called me, I was like, I don't know.
I'd be happy to, council member. I would encourage you to come by and see me and see what the existing ordinance is, to see if you're okay with it before you'll spend a lot of time doing that. It's my suggestion. Come by and see me.
And just to make it easier for residents, I got another call from residents that wanted a permit, and they were given the runaround, and of course you came to their rescue, which was great. So I just want to stress the customer service to our community, because that's who we're serving. So, okay, I'm done. Okay.
Thank you. I would just like to say that it's been really inspiring and humbling for me to, go through this process over the last, since we've come on the council a little over 2.5 years ago. People who have reached out, not only in our community, but others who, come up and say that they're praying for us. And we're maybe one of the few councils that still have
minister come in and pray. And I just thought that what a wonderful healing situation that is for us. And it's a really inspiring to know that there are people not only in the community but outside the community that are praying for our community. And it was just a wonderful thing to hear people coming up and saying, that we're praying for you guys on the council, the staff, city members, people who are affected by the decisions that we make. And so I just, thought that I would like to pass that along, and I just think it's a wonderful, like I said, healing kind of an arrangement that a lot of us can feel empowered by. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lo que están diciendo,
she wants to know what's going on.
Lo del señor, ella sí más o menos lo entendí, pero
el señor Watson dice que lo que él tiene que comentar, no estaba poniendo yo mucha atención, pero era de que últimamente le han llegado comentarios a él de que hay gente en la ciudad y fuera de la ciudad que está pidiendo por nosotros como concilio, como trabajadores de la ciudad y como comunidad para que hagamos cosas positivas para nuestra ciudad y que todos seamos beneficiados, y dice que para él ha sido algo muy bonito escuchar que a otra gente le interesa el éxito de nosotros como una comunidad y le gusta la idea de que otros estén pidiéndole a Dios por nosotros.
Pues sí, pero había de ser cosas que de veras necesitemos.
No.
Porque
él estaba traduciendo lo que dijo, pero no es
quiero que me traduzca para poder contestar.
Es que en las juntas así no se contesta, disculpe.
Sí, pues entonces por eso siempre hacen lo que ustedes quieren, porque uno nunca nos dejan hablar lo que debe de hablar. Ya hablar después.
Okay. My turn.
I just love being the lucky 3 today. Okay, so Diddle, what you want to say regarding everybody coming and expressing your thoughts, the issues, as business owners and our vendors as well, how compassionate you are about the city of Lindsay. I appreciate all the stories. I appreciate the history. I appreciate everything that you guys have brought up, because a lot of the things most of us are not aware of. I can't say that the rumors, or it's the truth, but I just want to go ahead and say thank you for coming forward and saying what everybody had in mind. For those of you who came up and said something. So I'm going to go ahead and start with, so I'm going to report that I'm on the ad hoc. Did you want to say something on the ad hoc for the Harvard Park?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So on the Harvard Park, I was unable to attend, but I did reach out to Councilmember Brian to give me an update on the Harvard Park. I met with Brian for a briefing for about an hour. I attempted to contact Dennis, but I was unaware he didn't return my call, so I was unsuccessful about that. I reached out and I emailed him. I also reached out to the students, and I will be meeting with them this Thursday. So I joined Yolanda to the tour that we went to in Selmar with Dr. Green Thumb's dispensary. For those of you who don't know, the dispensary in Selmar is actually owned by Cypress Hill, who is a rapper, Be Real. No, we did not see him there. However, we did speak with a cultivation expert, and correct me if I'm wrong, Justin, Kenji, and the last name is Fujishima? Okay. So, very interesting. The dispensary was huge, very clean. They had a variety of merchandise, including, they had clothing, they had smoking accessories, they had liquids that you could drink, oils, bath bombs, things that I never heard of. So I wouldn't mind actually maybe using one of them. You know, just to relax. No smoking, just bath bombs or something like that. But just to give you a little bit of history, only because I did go online before, I did go out to the dispensary because I wanted to know the history on it. They opened last year in August. They are very successful as we speak. They brought in, at their grand opening, they brought in 1,500 people. Is that correct, Dustin? Around 1,500 people, grand opening? Yes? So I thought that was very interesting. In the location where it's at, it does seem busy, but it just feels, I don't know how to say it, kind of unsafe area. But from the traffic that they get, they do have high volume of their merchandise of whatever they sell. Their team is very professional, knowledgeable. Kenji and their team answered all our questions, also extended the help in the future in case we need it. They did express the importance on communication between the council members, city manager, staff, working very closely with law enforcement, not only now, but in the future. So to keep that partnership going as they go. He also expressed to us, he did have, prior to that, he tried to get another business going. So he has a lot of experience of what to do and what not to do. So he's also in the learning process as well as the cities are. So it's kind of like a learning for both of them. I also attended Lindsay Health Advisory yesterday. So I just want to real quick give a quick rundown on that. Summer night lights will be coming soon. I didn't get a date on that, but they'll be coming soon. They normally have 6 dates. Normally the Wellness Center does 3 days, and the McDermott does the other 3. They also talked about Earth Day, which will be on April 22nd. They'll be working with Mid-Valley to do cleanup, abatement, graffiti, trash. It will be from 10 to 1 or 2. They haven't decided till what time. They're asking for youth softball and the soccer teams to go out and help. They were talking about a little competition with the council members regarding recycling. There was no further detail on that. Just know I'm very competitive. No hard feelings, please. Also, they talked about, I don't know if anybody remembers regarding the car seat, where you can go and you can check your car seat or give you one if you need one. That is coming again on October 19th. Kiwanis will have their bike rodeo out there, and they're going to try to get more senior resources out there as well. There will also be, Lisa talked about martial arts for autistic kids. It's $40 monthly for autistic kids and special needs. They're looking into that. It's $40 monthly, and that may be coming in April. So that's something new to our town. They're also looking at a fitness called U-Gym, hip hop dancing for youth, to bring that out to the Wellness Center as well. And our next meeting will be on April 8th, if anybody's interested, at the Wellness Center at 5:30. And that's it. Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay, here I go. Sorry. I'll try to translate both English and Spanish. So I also want to, just say thank you to everybody for being here, trying to get informed. I know that it's hard with work and other responsibilities, but before I was on city council, I also used to come just they're always very interesting. There's information discussed that we would have never thought, so I like seeing a lot of new faces here. Quiero agradecer a todos los que están aquí presentes porque es importante involucrarse antes de que yo me sentara acá arriba en el concilio. Venía a las juntas y cada que venía no sabía qué esperar, pero siempre aprendía algo nuevo, así que me da mucho gusto mirar caras nuevas y de que estén aquí interesados en la información. Next, I do want to say that March is Women's History Month. In 1980, President Carter issued a proclamation declaring March 8th as National Women's History Day. And this month is really dedicated to highlight the contributions the women do all around the world. And I want to congratulate all the women here because I know a lot of you guys here, I see business owners, I see teachers. I want to say I have my second grade teacher here. I'm not going to say who she is, but she's sitting somewhere in the back. I never thought that. And I also see all of my 3 children's kindergarten teachers sitting here in the front. So it's awesome and exciting to see you guys here. Congratulations to all the women and fellow council members. And on that note, I did attend briefly the Women's Conference at the Wellness Center on Friday, put on by Quinto Sol de America. Awesome conference. Saw a lot of parents there, a lot of women from our community. It's just a day for them where they are exposed to the different resources offered locally and throughout our communities here. And it was also nice to see that they get like a beauty day because we know that especially a lot of our parents here in our community, because of their working schedule and other responsibilities, they don't really have an opportunity to pamper themselves. And Milan was there to comb the hair, do their makeup, and so I thought that was a really nice treat for the women that attended. So I was very happy to see that, and again, this is an annual event. I connected with Isabel Arroyo for the future events, and I would like to get more involved in that. Este mes de marzo es el mes histórico de la mujer y quiero felicitar a todas las mujeres aquí presentes, desde dueñas de negocio como a maestras. Está aquí mi maestra de segundo grado cuando iba a la escuela Washington y también está aquí presente la maestra de mis 3 hijos, que fue maestra en kinder. Me da mucho gusto mirarlas aquí. También a las miembros del concilio me da gusto y quiero felicitarlas porque ser mujer, ser negociante, tener trabajo y atender a muchas otras responsabilidades es algo que admirar en todas las mujeres. I also attended the Health Advisory Committee yesterday with Rosana and other members, and very exciting, lots going on over there at the Wellness Center. At one point, I know Rosana asked about the staffing, and for the amount of activities and things that are going on, it's really surprising that their staffing is very limited. So we discussed that, and that'll be something for future consideration, but we were very pleased with what we heard. Just a couple things that Rosana missed. Rotary Club is looking at possibly running bingo at the Wellness Center in the Great Room, so they're still trying to figure out details, but that'll be something good for the community. Couple of our sports, soccer and softball, are running a little late due to all the rain we've gotten recently, but as I was driving here to the meeting, I saw the field out in the sports complex filled with children running and their parents sitting there waiting for them, so that was very nice to see. Yo también, como la señora Rosana, atendía una junta del Comité de Salud ayer en el Centro de Salubridad y nos dio mucho gusto saber de todas las actividades que están preparando para la comunidad. Una de las actividades que no se mencionó anteriormente fue de que el Club Rotario de aquí de la ciudad de Lindsay está planeando tener noches de bingo ahí en el salón del Wellness Center, y actualmente están haciendo ellos más investigaciones para ver cómo pueden mejor correr un evento así. También nuestros equipos de fútbol y de béisbol están un poquito atrasados a causa de que la lluvia que tuvimos, pero ya empezaron. Conforme manejaba aquí hace rato, miré que los campos de fútbol estaban llenos de los niños y de los papás esperándolos ahí, mirándolos, y me dio mucho gusto mirar eso. Es todo. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to thank my fellow council members for all the work that you're doing on your committees. It's really helpful, and especially the ad hoc committees. I know that they take a lot of work and effort, and it's great that everybody's participating with that. We might have enough for right now, huh?
Disculpen, yo nada más quiero dar una disculpa a la señora cuando no me tomó la tarjeta, pero yo quise usar eso como ejemplo de que muchas gentes por ser hispanos nos han rechazado y todo, pero yo le pido a la señora una disculpa por lo que dije hace un rato, ¿verdad? Porque yo a la señora sí la he visto, la conozco, ¿verdad? Y pido una disculpa por lo que pasó hace un rato.
I should have apologized to somebody for something she did.
For myself, I enjoyed reading, one positive thing, I enjoyed reading to kindergartners at Roosevelt School on Dr. Seuss Day. I bought my favorite Dr. Seuss book. Did you wear the hat? And I didn't wear the hat. But it was a lot of fun. I also poked my head in on the women's conference that El Quintoso put on, and it looked well attended and like a really nice event. I got, tatted up for tonight because just to advertise the St. Patrick's Day Irish dinner at the museum Friday, starting at 5 o'clock, eat in or take out. And it is the benefit for the Lindsay Museum, so don't forget that. And I also wanted to announce that at the museum tomorrow night there will be a forum beginning at 6:30 with light refreshments and a discussion beginning around 7. Mario Zamora will be there leading this thoughtful discussion on the topic of marijuana. Will it be more of a hurt or a help to the city? And anyone is invited, free of charge. The forum leaders were particularly interested in any city council members might attend, so I'm extending their invitation to you.
And you said it's tomorrow?
It's tomorrow night, 6:30, discussion at 7. More of a social gathering at 6:30, discussion at 7 at the museum.
Okay.
Thank you. And that's all I have to report. We do not have a student representative here tonight, so we'll move on to staff reports if the city manager has anything to report on.
Madam Mayor, I have plenty, but I think I'll keep it brief. Well 14 DBCP results, we are still running below the threshold, and we've been doing so for a year and a half, Mike?
2016.
2016. So that's really good news. Typically, when something gets bad, it gets worse. We were out of tolerance. We got within tolerance. We have been now for this long, these 3 years, we've been within standards. And so some of the actions that we're taking are working. And again, my hat's off to staff for being out there and being on top of that. And the rain was alluded to a little earlier. Our groundwater levels at well 15 has risen 30.5 feet. And well 14 has risen 15.6 feet.
Awesome.
And we've got some other areas where it's coming up. So we're pleased with that. We recognize that probably taking out of service of some ag wells out in the county has helped us a little bit. You know, it looks like a big siphon out there. But we're pleased to see some recharging taking place. I will move on to recreation. Surveys, as you're aware, have been done related with the community, related to what they want to see happen at Olive Bowl and Kaku. And they're going to be collected until March 27th, 2019. Lisa's coordinating that. There's a SurveyMonkey opportunity. I believe it's linked on the wellness website. Have we done it on our own website? Do you know? It's just wellness. So the wellness website, and people can go by the wellness center, get a form. We'll help them do that if they want to provide some input there or learn a little bit about what we're trying to do. We're competing for a grant there. There's no guarantee, but we'd sure like it to be what the community wants to be if we're going to do something out there. And I would like to kind of send a shout out to J.J. Karen's teacher, Misty Villarreal, who is taking her classroom out to help clean up and beautify Olive Bowl, and they're going to start that process tomorrow. So if you see her, give her an attaboy. She's taken this upon herself. We truly appreciate that. And just other general notes of interest, we have lifeguard training happening March 16, 21. There's a variety of dates there through the 31st. So people that are interested in being a lifeguard, they should reach out to Lisa at the Wellness Center and throw their name in the hat. And lifeguard job fair will occur on March the 30th, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Bill. Any questions? Okay. That will move on to item 4, which is our consent calendar. Routine items approved in one motion unless an item is pulled for discussion. We have a number of things on consent calendar. Minutes from February 26th, the warrant list for March 6th, treasurer's report for February, a resolution to accept title of 2 government purposes properties from the successor agency related to our successor meeting that we just had, and resolution 1907 authorizing the mayor to sign the 2019 temporary 215 contract year water service contract with Friant, and Irwin PNP task order, Keller Irwin task order, and Prop 1 planning grant change order. But action would the council like to take?
I'll move for approval.
We have a motion for approval. Is there a second? Second. Moved by Watson, seconded by Cortez. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Madam
Since the
Mayor,
motion
we need
carries
a roll
5-0.
call on this, because of the acceptance of the property. A roll call vote on the approval of the consent calendar, please.
All right, Councilmember Watson.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Cortez.
Aye.
Councilmember Flores.
Aye.
Councilmember Sanchez.
Aye.
Mayor Kimball.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Our next item is a site plan review for a labyrinth on the east side of City Hall, and this will be presented by our city manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Honorable Council. To start off with, I would like to introduce to you Jan McGuire. She's been a longtime educator in the community. She's been a patron of the arts. She has a love for our community and for our children, and she's going to introduce a PowerPoint that you're about to get to enjoy.
Good evening. I'm Jan McGuire, obviously. I've lived here in Lindsay for 42 years, and I'm on the board of the Sequoia Center for Holistic Studies. We're here as the board to propose building a labyrinth for Lindsay. I'll give a brief history of our organization, and then Christy McCracken from Porterville, who is also on the board, has a presentation on labyrinths. And Rob Hodges, our contractor, will show you our proposal. The center was founded in 1986 as a legacy of Edmund Fernald, who left part of his estate to start a non-profit learning center. Its purpose was to enable students to realize their full human potential, to honor and protect the earth, and to envision a more compassionate future. Fernald's protege, Bob Goings of Springville, formed a board and built a small center there that taught courses in holistic healing methods and Native American spirituality. One much appreciated feature of the center was a public labyrinth. In 2000, the Fernald Center's legal name was changed to Sequoia Center for Holistic Studies, and in 2005, we sold the building and bought riverfront property to establish a conservation project in El Fuerte, Mexico. That was since turned over to a Mexican nonprofit. Since Bob Goings' death in November 2017, the board has granted most of its assets to 3 organizations: United Cerebral Palsy Preschool in Central California, Bob's last employer, the Vajra Flame Foundation for Spiritual Studies in Colorado, and Corazon, a nonprofit organization with a comprehensive project for education, housing, and healthcare in Tijuana. We believe these grants honor the founder's original vision. We're proposing to spend the last of Edmund Fernald's legacy to build a public labyrinth in Lindsay. And Christy McCracken has a PowerPoint presentation for you.
This slide shows the visuals for Jan's speech, which talks about the vision for the center, which was to actualize human potential, protect the earth, and work towards a compassionate future. So there's 6 brief things we're going to show you about labyrinths. First of all, to define them, and then what their purpose is, a little bit about the history, places they've been located, and the different types of labyrinths we have. And then you have in front of you a labyrinth. If you'd like to trace it while I'm talking, if you get slightly bored, you can experience the calm that they provide. So when you enter a maze, you can get lost because there's dead ends. But with a labyrinth, it goes to a center and goes back out. So there's one path, and the idea is that you can find yourself. So they were found on coins in Crete, in petroglyphs in India, and also in the turf of England. So a labyrinth is basically a walking path that goes to the center. It's a universal tool, and it's allowed you to connect with your inner self, and some believe to the divine. So this ancient path has been around from many cultures. It's a universal symbol. It's really about renewal, and it clearly marks the pathway in and out, so you can't get lost on a labyrinth. They're geometric in shape, which invites calm contemplation. The walking offers an opportunity for you to quiet your mind and hopefully to open your heart. Some people enter a labyrinth with a question, and when they get to the center, then they pause, and as they walk out, they wait for an answer. Some use the labyrinth as a way to release grief and to experience connection. They're built as a visually appealing landscape feature. They're also built for relaxation and rejuvenation. They're built as a way to relieve stress and to meditate, and they're about openness, and they actually have neuroplasticity. They talk about how it balances the brain. So different hemispheres of the brain are balanced because it's a pathway that exercises both sides. So the history began 4,000 years ago. There were Greeks and Romans. You can see the labyrinths woven into baskets of Native Americans, into the tile work of cathedrals, and even carved into stones. They're on petroglyphs, and they're also on playgrounds. And there's a video, but due to the length of the board meeting, we won't show you. There's a 2-minute clip here about different labyrinth locations. They include prisons, and on the next slide, it shows that they're in churches. The one on the right is a Chartres Cathedral. I've actually been able to visit that one. They're sometimes considered a symbolic pilgrimage. They're also found in hospitals. Oftentimes, this one's kind of in an area down below, but there's also rooftop, different labyrinths in hospitals that both the staff and patients, some terminal, walk as a way to heal. They're also in schools and universities. The one on the right is in Kent, England, and they help with creative problem solving because they do the brain balancing. They're also in public parks and gardens, and that's what we're proposing. We consider it a visually appealing landscape feature. It's a community focal point. It's a place for gathering and for fun, and it can even be a place for school field trips. We proposed the Chartres one, but it doesn't really fit into the space here, so we've proposed an alternative. But there's over 2,000 permanent labyrinths in the United States alone. And they can be made of a decomposed granite or a dirt path. They can also be paved. The one we're proposing is a turf walkway because the grass here is so beautiful, and it would have a brick border on it, which would be flush with the grass. You can walk them alone or as a group. And over the last 20 years, over 10,000 labyrinths have been built around the globe. Their forms are ageless and complex. The swirling pathways can be playful. They're a place for soulful contemplation. They've fascinated visitors for thousands of years, and we hope that their appeal will charm you into saying yes to our proposal to build one in your community. They've been around since medieval times, and they're still here in modern times, so we hope that you can walk the pathway with your finger and see how that works for you. But we hope to build one out here on the lawn so that you can feel the similar calming effect. There's historical connections and spiritual possibilities. We hope you'll find your way. And I'm a teacher. I was going to give you a quiz, but for the length of time, we'll put that for tomorrow. Here's all the answers to your quiz. We hope you'll help spread the word and invite community ownership of the facility. The visual on the image right here, this was funded by, in honor of Bob Goings, who, that's right. The last slide just shows that it's Bob Goings is the one that we're doing it in honor of. His vision is the one that we're executing. And Rob Hodges is going to talk a little bit more about what the labyrinth would actually look like.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Rob Hodges from Springville. I have been a labyrinth builder and designer since starting a landscape design and installation business in 2015. I've trained with Laura Nartres in Veritas, which is a Bay Area concern that she began in the 1990s, and she was one of the people, as she was working as a rector at Grace Cathedral in San Francisco, to bring that Chartres Cathedral labyrinth to the United States, and really was instrumental in a lot of the resurgence of labyrinths and the use of labyrinths in communities around the country. The one that we've proposed here, as Christy mentioned, was the 11th Circuit Chartres Cathedral Labyrinth, but the space we had available to us, it became apparent that we didn't have the space needed to make a labyrinth that was 11 feet across, which would be about a 50-foot diameter labyrinth, to have a walking path that was 18 inches wide, which is a comfortable path for walking, and we had about 44 feet maximum. So this is a 7-circuit, it's a reduced Chartres Cathedral-style labyrinth with the 6-petaled rosette in the center of the labyrinth. The center of this labyrinth is a diameter of 10 feet, and the overall diameter of this labyrinth is 36 feet 4 inches. So it fits well within that 44-foot limited space that's there. And the proposal was to use, as Christy mentioned, the grass that's already there, the turf that's already out there, and then to set on edge red segundo brick pavers, or bricks actually, on edge too wide. So we'd have a wall outlining the labyrinth that was 4 inches wide. They would sit down about 4 inches and then sit in a mortar base to help hold them in place. I think with a 10-foot wide center, you could easily accommodate 6 people in the center, while you had others who were walking in and some who were walking out. So there's room for probably as many as 30 people at a time on the labyrinth. And simple rules for stepping aside and allowing somebody, if you're on your way out, somebody who's coming in to move. Having a path that's 18 inches wide gives plenty of room for that as well. We wanted to set it level or flush with the grass, set the bricks flush with the grass, so there was no impediment for lawn care and maintenance, ongoing lawn care and maintenance. One of the things that I'll need to do, though, before we get started on this, given approval, is to just work with the Public Works folks and check to see where the risers in the lawn are, so that we can work around them, either by placing the labyrinth in such a way that we're not going to interfere with them, or working around them in some other way, so that we're not going to cause any problem for the use of the sprinkler system. And I think I'm pretty sure that all of those lines that carry the irrigation system are well below the level of where we would be going, which is about 5 inches deep. So there's just an image that shows you, or there's an image that shows you the overall perimeter that we're talking about. And we've also talked about the possibility of placing maybe at some point, some benches. The little brown lines there represent where the benches might be placed. Easy access from the sidewalk, the public sidewalk, and also the sidewalks around the city council here. So I'm happy to answer any questions you might have about the proposal.
Thank you very much. Are there questions this time?
Yeah, just in regards to the 6-petal. I know that based on the presentation, is a very common throughout a lot of the different labyrinths, but, you may have heard that here in Lindsay, we have a lot of oranges.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the orange blossom is kind of a big deal, but it only has 5 petals.
Okay.
So I was just curious.
I think it's entirely possible to personalize it to Lindsay and make it special mark, Lindsay mark. I'm totally open to that. Yeah. Cool. This is based on a design from a 12th century labyrinth in France, but we certainly, it's a plastic. It can be reshaped and worked. Yeah. Happy to do that. So.
Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
Thank you. I think it's an excellent idea.
I don't have any questions.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that existed. Yeah. But I'd be using it if it was out there, maybe every time before council.
This is a happening place apparently, but good for body and soul. That's right.
It sounds like a really lovely gift to the city.
Thank you.
Very nice. Very nice.
Lo siento que no podíamos hacerlo en español, pero si tienen preguntas podemos responder.
All right, so this is a minute order action item. If the council would like to take action on this at this time, which, the motion would potentially be to accept the site plan review and authorize going forward.
Is that, and with Councilmember Watson's suggestion?
With the suggestion that we personalize it to our citrus industry with a 5-petal flower in the center.
So that's where we read this, huh? So I forgot.
No, you don't need to read that because it's on.
Oh.
We just need a minute order. We just need a motion.
So moved.
Okay, so moved. So
with the orange. Okay, citrus. I second it.
Okay, it's been moved by Cortez and seconded by Sanchez. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Did you say when they were starting?
He's got a project that he has to do before this. One of the conditions that we had in there was that once they started trenching, they needed to wrap it up within a month, and they need to protect the trenching so that it's not a hazard to anyone. They're aware of it. They're fine with all the conditions that were imposed.
Okay, great. Our next item is a request to advertise in the annual OBF publication and discussion at what level, and Bill will present that.
I had made a request to council via email that this be pulled. The deadline for putting it in was yesterday afternoon, and I did communicate with the mayor when I learned this, and I submitted it for slightly less than the amount that it was for last year, which was $550. I think it's an important thing that's the council pictures that go into the OBF package, and if a majority of council does not agree with that, I'll pay it myself.
Okay. Okay, great.
I also think that it's important that we do this every year and that you don't have to pay it yourself, in my opinion, although I'd be willing to submit my my stipend for April towards it if that was needed.
Me too. I'm willing to do that.
Agree.
Yeah, whenever we get it.
Have you checked your box lately?
Usually we get our mail here and we don't have any mail apparently.
So,
Maybe in your box.
Yeah.
Yeah, but usually for city council meetings, all the mail is here.
so if it's not too late, we're authorizing to go ahead and
pay for it.
And pay for it.
Is the city paying for it, or are council and I paying for it, just to clarify, so I know?
Well, I'm willing to help.
So that's like half of the money coming from the council, and I don't know that it's come from you. We have a city council budget of some sort.
It always comes out of the city council budget. Normally it doesn't come before council, but in a spirit of wanting to engage council
take it
more
out of the
fully.
city council budget.
I know.
Take it out of the city council.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Well, okay, whatever council members want to motion, we'll vote on it.
So I motion to take it out of the city council in its entirety, budget, money, whatever, account.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed?
Thank you, council.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Does anybody need a break? No. We're good? Okay. Next item, item 7, resolution 1908, authorizing city manager to negotiate and execute contract with Jymora Enterprises for the Friday night market operations, presented by our ad hoc committee.
I believe this is what most of everybody's here for. Okay, so she wants to translate it into Spanish.
Where's Eric?
He left. O usted que termine de decirlo en inglés, lo diré lo mejor que pueda en español. Okay. This has been a very tough one, I just want to say, because as mentioned earlier, a lot of people are taking this very personal, and a lot of personal names have been thrown out there, and it really isn't about people. It's about, it's a city government agency, and it is a nonprofit agency, a chamber. So when people would refer to it as personal names, I always, from the ad hoc committee, I always try to direct it back to, it's two different entities, it's not one person against another. So I just want to make that clarification to start off with. But I'm going to go ahead and read this market operations RFP selection and award. Little background and analysis. For the last few months, City Council members have heard many impassioned opinions from the public during public comment and in one-on-one conversations outside regular meetings regarding the Friday night market. At the same time, Council has had to deal with complex issues stemming from a time a decade or more ago when the administration was not believed to be transparent or unbiased. The city has struggled for years with the aftermath of financial decisions, as mentioned before. From that era, it has been hard, it has been emotional, and it has been a learning experience. One main tool that the city uses, not only the city of Lindsay, but government entities, to maintain unbiased and equitable decisions is the request for proposal or RFP process. Without a contract for the 2019 market season, the council authorized and issued an RFP for the market services. Staff facilitated the issuing and collection of responses within the mandated timeline. Staff sent copies of the 3 responses to the scoring committee. There were 4 members scoring that were part of the committee. One of them was myself, Councilmember Watson, as part of the ad hoc committee. We did have the City of Porterville's Economic Development Director as an outside reviewer, and City of Tulsa's Economic Development Director as an outside reviewer. I'm going to translate that in Spanish, and then I'll come back in English. Is that okay?
Yes.
Is that allowed? Okay, thank you. Que le tomo el agua porque es mucho que decir. Okay. So, estamos hablando de la propuesta para el manejador de la marqueta los viernes. Para darles un poquito de historia a los presentes, en los últimos meses, los miembros del concilio han escuchado a mucha gente apasionada acerca de la marqueta de los viernes aquí de la ciudad. Hemos escuchado a la gente durante el tiempo de comentario público y también hemos tenido conversaciones personales y en grupos pequeños con las personas que han pedido hablar con nosotros. Al mismo tiempo, el concilio ha tenido que lidiar con problemas muy complejos que sucedieron hace más de una década, cuando se cree que la administración no fue totalmente transparente y justa. La ciudad ha batallado por años con los problemas de las decisiones financieras de hace más de una década. Esto ha sido difícil, ha sido muy emocional y también ha sido una experiencia de aprendizaje. Una de las cosas que usan las agencias gubernamentales para asegurar que se hagan decisiones justas y con igualdad es que se hacen propuestas para servicios. Entonces, este año, sin un contrato para una marqueta en el 2019, el concilio autorizó esta propuesta para la marqueta, para los servicios de la marqueta. Trabajadores de la ciudad facilitaron esta propuesta y coleccionaron las respuestas durante el tiempo sugerido. Copias de estas propuestas se mandaron a un comité que le dieron calificaciones a las propuestas. El comité fue compuesto por 4 personas, una que me incluye a mí, otra persona fue el señor Watson, miembro del concilio. Se le pidió al director de Director de Desarrollo Económico de la ciudad de Porterville, que le evaluara como alguien de afuera, y también al director de Desarrollo Económico de la ciudad de Porterville. Esas 2 personas de afuera de la ciudad también evaluaron las propuestas. The ad hoc committee appreciated the help from the 2 outside reviewers in the process. The committee encourages city staff to reciprocate if and when the opportunity arises. The city received responses from Hugo Flores, Himora Enterprises, and Lindsay Chamber of Commerce. Each reviewer read and scored all 3 proposals independently against the scoring matrix provided in the RFP. One exception was Mayor Pro Tem Cortez, who recused herself from reviewing Hugo Flores' proposal because she has a family member associated with Hugo Flores. The average for Hugo Flores was determined by the remaining 3 reviewers to ensure comparability to the other 2 proposers. The ad hoc committee selected the top proposer based on average score to ensure equity and fairness in the decision. Using total scores would yield the same ranking. El comité de eventos especiales agradece la ayuda de las 2 personas de afuera de la ciudad. Agradecemos que se involucraron para repasar estas propuestas. El comité también pide a la ciudad que les regrese el favor a esas ciudades cuando sea necesario, participando en actividades similares. La ciudad recibió propuestas de parte de Hugo Flores, Himora Enterprises y la Cámara de Comercio de Lindsay. Cada persona del comité repasó las propuestas y le dio calificación independientemente usando una matriz que fue parte del paquete de las propuestas. Una excepción fue que yo me retiré de evaluar una de las propuestas de Hugo Flores porque al abrir el paquete y mirar algunos de los nombres allí, miré que un familiar mío estaba asociado con él y me retiré. El promedio de la calificación de Hugo Flores salió después de que evaluaron las respuestas de los demás participantes. El comité seleccionó a la propuesta con los más puntos para asegurar igualdad y justificación en la decisión. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the matrix was composed of 6 categories with a total score between the 6 of them of 100 points. So the categories were quality of proposal, ability, capacity, and skill of a proposer to provide the services, ability of a provider to help the market prosper, character, integrity, judgment, experience, and efficiency of the provider, quality of the provider's performance on previous contracts with the city or with other agencies or organizations if the provider has never had a contract with the city, revenue sharing with the city. So potential scores were 15, 15, 15, 15, 20, and 20 in those categories. Proposer 1 had a total of 57.7 points. Proposer 2, 90, and I should say, and that was Hugo Flores. Proposer 2, Himora Enterprises, 91.2. Proposer 3, Lindsay Chambers, 61.3. Okay. So, cuando calificamos estas 3 propuestas, se nos dio una matriz Habían 6 categorías: la calidad de la propuesta, la habilidad, capacidad y habilidades de proveer los servicios, habilidad del proveedor, ayudar a la marqueta tener éxito, carácter, integridad, experiencia y eficaz del manejamiento, calidad del manejador, de trabajo previo en otros contratos, ya sea con la ciudad o con otras agencias o organizaciones, si la persona nunca ha tenido contrato con la ciudad, y el compartir ganancias con la ciudad. El total máximo podía ser 100 puntos. La propuesta 1, Hugo Flores, tenía 57.7 puntos. Propuesta 2, Himora Enterprises, 91.2. La propuesta 3, Cámara de Comercio de Lindsay, 61.3. Ese es el reporte de todo el trabajo que se hizo. Las alternativas, cosas que se pueden hacer. So alternatives. We can select Himora Enterprises as the operator of Friday Night Market and instruct staff to negotiate a contract with Himora Enterprises. We can select a different operator and instruct staff to negotiate a contract with them, or we can provide staff with other instructions. Las alternativas que tenemos es de que podemos seleccionar a Himora Enterprises como el operador de la marqueta de los viernes, darle instrucción a los trabajadores de la ciudad para que negocien un contrato con ellos. Podemos seleccionar otro operador y darle instrucción a los trabajadores de la ciudad para que negocien un contrato con ellos, o podemos dar otras instrucciones a los trabajadores de la ciudad. There's another piece to this. It says benefit to or impact on city resources. Himora is a highly successful market operator with relationship with over 600 vendors. The city will receive $2,000 per session in year 1, $2,500 year 2, and $3,000 per session in year 3. Total revenue to the city will depend on the number of sessions per year. Y para terminar, el impacto de recursos a la ciudad es de que Himora Enterprises ha sido un operador con éxito que tiene relación con más de 600 negociantes. La ciudad recibirá $2,000 por sesión el primer año, $2,500 el segundo año y $3,000 el segundo año. Todos los recursos, las ganancias a la ciudad dependerán del número de sesiones de marqueta al año.
Are you done? It's complete? That's it. All right. For that. That's all. Thank you, Laura. So at this time, if the council wishes to have further discussion, they may do so, or...
Yes, a long time ago, when all this stuff was happening with Townsend, there was a great motto, and it was, "We are Lindsay." Right? And we are Lindsay. Our community is out there, and they have spoken. I move to give this back to the chamber and have them do it with negotiations. With negotiations that are fit for, it's a win-win. You could do that, Bill, and I know the chamber can do it too. They have spoken. We are here to listen to them.
Made a motion.
I make a motion.
I second. I don't know if it would be appropriate to share more information about findings that we found through the readings, or not interested at that time with that.
Oh, because you said you were finished.
Well, that was the report, but that's like, more discussion.
I made a motion.
Is Councilman Watson going to recuse himself?
Does the attorney see any reason for Councilman Watson to recuse himself?
Unless he knows of something I don't know, but I don't know what in particular he would be recusing himself over.
Short of my office being on Honolulu.
It's a conflict of interest because he's on the council and he has his business. He shouldn't be able to go. That's how we see it. If Mrs. Cortez stepped down, he should step down too.
Well, she stepped down on scoring.
Yeah, but still, she stepped down on whatever
Well,
they were
man,
doing.
do you-
He should step down. She did it because she has a family member. He should step down because he's got a business. He shouldn't be on the council. He could be on the council, but shouldn't be able to vote.
So, you want me to respond?
Yes, please.
So there's a difference, obviously, because Ms. Cortez is gonna not score those because somebody in her family could benefit from them awarding the contract.
Well, it's the same thing with him. I think it's the same thing.
I disagree with you, but that's ultimately whether he wants to recuse himself is up to him.
Judy even mentioned it, that it would.
Arriesgan más con otra persona porque, o si no vamos a tener nosotros negocio, no
Yeah,
vamos
'cause you're
a
turning
cobrar.
down, like the
A
new-
Virginia ya la conocemos todos y todos queremos estar convencidos.
Así es. Because Pam, a lot, the new people that you want to come in are cutting down on a lot of the vendors. They already told them they're off. So that's not fair for the vendors.
Okay, so that's.
That's $300 for the food vendors?
If there's a conflict, I don't see it. It's ultimately up to Mr. Watson if he is gonna recuse himself though.
There's no conflict.
Okay, so my motion stands.
Okay, so does mine. So one of the things that, as I mentioned while I was reading the report, was there were these 6 categories that were asked to be scored. And one of the big ones was the revenue sharing with the city. We understand that this isn't going to solve our financial crisis that we're in, but we definitely don't want to dig ourselves in any further.
But that could be negotiable.
That was something that we took into consideration. And definitely, I agree that we want our businesses and our community to continue to prosper. We don't want a lot of the rumors, I guess, that people are hearing. Definitely, I would want to address them if needed. One of the things that was that popped out, I guess, in reviewing the request was the willingness of this enterprise to establish themselves in Lindsay. So not necessarily be an outside, they're looking at this as an opportunity as well. So that was something that stood out to me when I was reviewing the request for proposal. So I just wanted to bring that to light. I've been doing a lot of research as well. Again, yes, the event has been successful. There's been, hundreds of booths out there, lots of people in attendance. And this event has been run by Chamber of Commerce. This is only one of the many things that Chambers of Commerce should be doing. There's other things that should be taken, that should also be part of Chamber, which we haven't seen much of, unless I'm missing something. But that was something that in my research anyways, I have found that it would be nice to build our chamber more, not only by running the market, but by offering more services to our local businesses, such as workshops and advertisement, and continue being an advocate. They have been a great advocate as far as Friday Night Market has been. But other than that, I don't know, I don't have any more details. So that's all I wanted to bring. That was my personal research.
Okay. Thank you. I used to be able to actually advertise on the paper for them and stuff. But how can I do anything if there's no money?
So, we have a motion before the council. We're not open to public comment anymore. We need to move on this item. So there is a motion and a second. Would the clerk please take roll?
Thanks. The motion, as I understand, is to give the market back to the Chamber for Operations and instruct staff to negotiate. Do I have that correct?
Yes, correct.
So Councilmember Flores,
Yes.
Councilmember Sanchez,
Yes.
Councilmember Watson,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Cortez,
No.
Mayor Kimball.
No.
No. See, you guys are just looking at the money because they're gonna give you more.
We will have order in the room.
Ellos y nosotros somos los de los negocios. Nosotros somos los que debemos de decidir ¿Quién queremos que nos
We will have order in the room, and you must be recognized to speak, or we will have to clear the room.
There's somebody in the back that's been wanting to speak and hasn't had a chance.
Yeah, she spoke in
Thank
public
you.
comment.
She did speak in public comment. Do you have an additional thing to say?
Yes. I'm just wondering, like, for people like that they're coming to like represent the farmers market, do they have to have like a specific background, or does a background you guys ever check that they're kind of adequate for that, not just what they're offering, but also like doing that in the past?
So yes, the answer is yes. The RFP process looked into background. No. Okay, she can certainly share. Okay.
Yeah, she can submit her comments to the clerk.
So back in 2016, here you go. There's a URL associated with it. I'll just show this on this way. Where Adrian and his dad were caught with 111. They were interdicted with the 111 plan, and they had 4 firearms. So they were sent to prison, so like to jail for that, and the URL's on there so you guys can find it on the sheriff. And I feel like if someone's gonna represent farmers market, it should be someone that has like ethical understanding of stuff, not someone that they go against the law and they do stuff that they shouldn't. So that's something that that's why my proposal was against them, was because I saw that and I was like, okay, if you guys are gonna be representing Lindsay, we want something good. And if they didn't think about what they were doing before, what makes it like they're gonna be fair to every single vendor at farmers market. So that's the point. Why specifically went with them. Like, with them.
Thank you.
And the car is on there, so you guys can look it up.
Thank you.
Phil, I have a question for you. The RFPs were not in the agenda. Is that public or is that not public?
The RFP itself is, we've shared that with you, council.
They're public.
But not the ones that they submitted are not public.
No, they would be public.
They would be public.
Yeah, the only thing that wouldn't be provided, the only thing that wouldn't be provided would be, like, for instance, maybe some like proprietary information. So like the mechanics of how things are run, or so if they have,
specific.
If they have a specific way of, how they're operating in some way, that wouldn't be just generic information. For example, maybe if they have employees, like how much they're paying their employees, something like that. That wouldn't be public, but the rest of the document would.
And I'm wondering, because I had to ask for it. So if we're getting that information, if that information was not in the packet and I have not asked for it, then it wouldn't be in here. We would only get basic information. So for me, it was very important to have that information, not only for me, but also for them, because they wouldn't be asking the same questions that we're asking, or that we know. We're not asking those questions out loud, because why? I asked for the RFP on Monday morning, which I did get and I appreciate. But however, I don't know if anybody else knows that that is public, and that would only be fair for them, so that way they can have a background of the people that were selected. So that's one of the reasons why I selected, what I selected, or what I, went with Yolanda. That was one of the
And a
reasons
background
why.
check should always be done.
Yeah.
That should be number one.
That's a disqualification right there. Right there. That's disqualification.
Could we not vote and table this for?
Okay, I move to table.
Second.
And I want to be clear, so that we know what we're doing. Do you guys want us to do some kind of like criminal background check? Is that?
Yes.
Sorry, folks.
Yes.
Anytime we get outside vendors or from the city, a background check should be conducted.
Yeah, we wouldn't normally do that until we awarded something, because if we got 50 proposals, we're not going to do 50 background checks just to give it to the one person.
But that,
you guys, if you want us to,
please.
If you want us to do that, we can do that. That's not a problem. We just wouldn't normally do that until after something was proposed, so that we don't have to take the cost of doing that. If you want us to do it ahead of time, we can do that.
Yes.
But I would just add, the cost ahead of time, the cost ahead of time could be prohibitive typically, we will do something. You'll hire somebody, you'll enter into a contract, then you make sure that they're qualified. That they're not qualified, then you can go with the plan B. You really don't have the money to do 50 backgrounds, I'm just telling you.
Well, we don't have, is it possible, excuse me.
That's it.
Okay, so Bill, on the background check, is it possible that they can pay for a background check themselves instead of us incurring that bill?
Yeah, there is.
Okay, so can that, I mean, can we add that in there instead of us incurring the cost?
I would just say you're altering the RFP right now. It's fine to take
Well-
it and to give us direction,
Okay,
but
that's what, that's not, I don't mean.
Yeah, we'll make sure it gets done. Okay. And if we can give it as an expense to them,
Yes,
We'll do
yes,
yes, yes.
So I motion to table this until the next meeting?
Second. Is there a reason why we have to table it? Because I really want to go with the second. I mean, I'm really set on giving it back to them. Well, sorry, that's what
that's already been voted on.
What way?
So,
Okay, yes.
So I've been through hundreds of these, so maybe I can give a little background to it. First, with the proprietary information, if you have a request for proposal that you have proprietary information that's not to be made public, you have to submit those under separate cover, and it has to be something that's allowed in the RFP. That's not part of this one. These proposals are completely public record. Typically what happens is those are released to the public once you get through the process of the electeds making the decision of what to do with it. The point of having staff to negotiate is to conduct that background check and to do the negotiations like you would in an employment situation.
Yeah, but the
And so-
difference here, Brett, I'm sorry, but all of this should have been public. Rosanna shouldn't have had to request it. It should have been in the packet.
No, they are never in the packet. There
Well,
are thousands of these across.
Because of our problem with transparency, I suggest that everything that we can legally put in the packet be put in the packet.
That's, if council wants to go that direction, that's what we can
That-
definitely do. The process, how this process works with this though, is it's set up that you can make a decision tonight if you want. If they fail the background check, then they fail and you come back to council with another request. Or you can just table, we can do that process and come back.
Yes. I've already
So
made
just
that
know those are
motion.
both options for you.
So Yolanda made the motion.
Again? It's been seconded.
It's been seconded.
Okay. All right, so this is table the next meeting. Councilmember Flores?
Aye. Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cortez?
Aye.
Councilmember Sanchez?
Aye.
And Councilmember Watson?
Aye.
And Mayor Kimball?
Aye. All right, it's tabled to the next council meeting, correct?
Yes.
All right. Okay. We will move on to our next item then, which is an update on streets.
Thank you, Mayor Kimball. So, in October of last year,
Mike, wait a minute.
Okay. Would anyone like to take a break from council? Excuse me, anyone need a break? What are we doing?
Y si van a seguir y es lo mismo con que den 10 secciones más, ¿qué se ganan por hacer 10 cosas y van a seguir en lo mismo? Cuando es tan fácil decidir algo que nosotros queremos porque es beneficio para todos nosotros, ¿ok? Y las personas que son latinas son las peores porque no quieren ayudar a su propio pueblo, ¿ok? Así es que nosotros necesitamos que nos ayuden a nosotros y nosotros debemos decidir quién queremos que nos asesore. No queremos gente de otro lado. ¿Por qué es tan difícil entender eso? Tradúceme y diles. Dile.
Eso es falta de respeto, señora.
No, falta de respeto. No te estoy ofendiendo. Yo no
Está hablando fuera de lugar. We will now take a 5-minute break. Thank you.
Yo no estoy ofendiendo a nadie. Yo estoy
diciendo la verdad. Y así la verdad te ofende.
Estamos aquí, estamos apoyando.